Okay, the next story that we're really going to dive into, this is a more of a thing for everybody out there, that if you have not seen the first 3 episodes of Andor season 2, then I'm going to tell you to get the hell out of here, because we are going to do a big on spoiler, to be honest with you, spoiler discussion like we always do with the Andor series. We've done it with Star Wars before in the past with Acolyte and other things, but we're going to discuss it. This is Andor season 2, and I'm pretty pumped to discuss it with you guys. Steph, I want to start with you. What were your thoughts on the first 3 episodes? You loved season 1. Does it continue on for you?
Oh yeah. I'm so obsessed and happy it's back. I was so excited because I for some reason in my head I thought it was dropping Wednesday 6 p.m. but then I got the notification. And just getting that notification that it says 3 episode drop, oh my gosh, I instantly hit the season 1 recap just to refresh. And then we just dove right in and didn't stop. And it was so they just did such a great job from the first opening scene of setting it up, and the action scenes are shot incredibly. It really feels like you're there. The tension is so real. The characters have gotten better. This episode 3 is just it like actually brought tears to my eyes. It was so insane.
So Mike, we had discussed when the show was announced that they were dropping 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes, and then 3 episodes. We were like, oh, okay. We knew that they had done the 3 episode arcs the first season, but after watching, so I am not going to spoil anything past episode 3. Obviously, I've seen the whole.
You've seen all 12?
I've seen the whole season. Yeah, so I can tell you that it makes so much sense as far as why they're releasing it all in one day, because what Steph just said, you release the first 2, and then you're like, well, how does this wrap up? Right. And then once it wraps up, the next jump is a year later. Because now, as we get into the spoilers, when you start with Cassian and he's on, you see right away, we jump right back into him on his mission, and he jumps and he gets the TIE fighter, he steals the TIE fighter, he crashes on Yavin. And when he's there, it was his story, actually, in the first 2 episodes, I liked the least. I hated the idiots that he ran into on that.
I'm so glad you said that.
I hate them. They're horrible.
So let me say this. So a lot of our friends in our circle, they saw all 12. Yeah. And are rightfully saying, greatest Star Wars ever, greatest Star Wars television. And about halfway through episode 1.5 or episode 2, about halfway. So these 3 episodes, about halfway through, I was kind of like, am I not seeing what everyone else is seeing?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, those people must have seen all 12. Yep. And there's a very good reason they dropped 3 at a time, because if I would have just got 1 or 2, I would have been kind of like, because those idiots on that planet,
they're the worst.
I didn't understand, first of all, what's going on. It's like, are they just fighting and now they separated? What are we, a Lord of the Flies going on here?
It felt like, remember in Obi-Wan? Remember in Obi-Wan when he or not Obi-Wan, Mandalorian, when he gets to that village and those idiot villagers that he's running around with?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're doing this again?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, wait. So, but then after 3, I was like, okay, all right, we're back on track to the Andor that used to be. Like,
it never stops from there on, Mike. It never stops.
Yeah, so, and I thought I didn't go online. I was like, wait, should I say? I was like, oh no, wait, there's a lot of people that's all 12. That's the people that are saying it's the best Star Wars.
Because you look
but what a smart decision to do these 3 at once.
That's what I mean.
Holy crap!
Yeah, because by the time you get to the 3rd episode and you completed the 3rd episode, those people, those idiots, are so far gone in your memory. You don't even think about them anymore. They're gone. Like, it's not the point.
Okay, so you watched the recap stuff. I didn't watch recap. At the end of season 1, because I remember we talked about this, was Dedra and Cyril together or not?
Yes.
They were?
Yeah.
But I remember they were flirting. He was flirting, and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna bang."
Hands. They held hands, or it actually didn't show that in my recap, but I remember, and everyone being like, because we joked about shipping them. We're like, "There's some horny tension going on here. This is a little crazy." And then by the end, you kind of saw, because she had that near-death experience, that will get you going. So I think that was the solidifying moment, and then so they picked up.
All right, let's talk about Stitch Fix. I know shopping's hard. I know it is. I found a much better way to do it, though. Stitch Fix, online personal styling, and makes it so easy. I'm not a shopping person. Doesn't matter. Even if I can figure out my size, it just stores never seem to really have what I need in stock. Then I'm not a crowds person. I'm not a lines person. I don't have the time for it. Stitch Fix, it gets you a stylist who understands your style, understands the size, gets the budget. They do all the shopping for you. So I just give my stylist the one that I have right now. I give them the size, I give them the style, I give the budget preferences. I order boxes when I want, how I want, no subscription required. And he just sends me for pieces, pluses, outfit recommendations, styling tips. It's awesome. I keep what works and then I send back the rest. It's very easy. There's no stores, there's no crowds, there's no stress. Just personalized looks that you're going to love. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. And it looks like you know what you're doing, too. If you're walking around, you go, hey, look at you. You're in style. I said, I know, right? And then I give Stitch Fix some props. Anyway, make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/KHS. One more time, stitchfix.com/KHS.
I was we called that one in. I love it. So I love it.
And she writes for her man.
She does. So I was going to ask. So, like, if I'm just going to ask you guys because what I want to make sure, because I've seen these. I went through one day where I think I watched like episodes 6 through 12 or something, like where it was. So I want to make sure that the stuff with his mother that happened in this first three, right?
Oh,
okay.
She drives my favorite character.
Oh, she drives me crazy.
The best.
She drives me crazy.
I love her.
But I think
I love her.
Yeah, Mike, I think you love her.
Obsessed. I'm obsessed with her.
Uncle Harlow. Where's Harlow? She's like, if you bring up Harlow again, I've got his record. You don't want to talk about him. Like Dedra,
that scene between Dedra and her was incredible. So, but this is what I love about the show.
Poor Cyril's fucking ass up on the bed.
Yeah,
he's
dead. But this is what I love about the show. Like we got 45 to 55-minute episodes. You're allowing us to not only just marinate with the characters, you're marinating with the damn Empire, right? And it's what some of those books did so well when they did the Empire. You're allowing us to go, oh, I don't agree with their philosophies. I don't like their jobs, but I understand them as people. I know what they're going through as people. I know what her aspirations are, is trying to be like the best. I know that he's a mama's boy who can't get past here, but he loves her and all these different things. You're giving us character. I saw the stupid thing again. This doesn't feel like Star Wars. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. The whole time I was thinking this feels so like Star Wars, and then more of what I've wanted in some of the missing pieces of how we've talked about how sometimes the politics in the original weren't that good, but the way that the way that was so genius is that every of our main 6 characters in the different sections of the galaxy that we visit them, in the first 3 episodes, they establish exactly what it feels like when a fascist regime is slowly taking over, and depending where you are is your level of comfort, even though you're still dealing with your individual life things, no matter where, what the status is. And then the slow creeping of how it's like everyone's comfort is going to kind of come to an end soon.
Yes. And the fact that you have Krennic out there and that whole thing, because that whole storyline of them, what they're trying to do with the building out and the start of the Death Star, right? Everything that they're doing and putting Dedra in there and all that. I'm telling you, this is why I said, now when I see people in the comments and they go, this is boring, I can't tell it. I just write back, pew pew is all I write back, because that's what you want to see. It's like
you brought a good point. You brought a good point, Harloff. I wanted to ask you guys about this because I remember we were all on board for season 1. It wasn't the show we thought it would be. It was, Harloff, you thought it was. I remember you were completely in love with it because of
season 1
building up to Andor. You were like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me.
Oh, I didn't. That was my least anticipated thing. It's my favorite by far, but it's least.
So, do you guys remember the feeling after Andor and in the time since then, where a lot of, I don't say diehard Star Wars fans, they weren't into it, it was just and people because a lot of people were upset that it didn't have lightsabers, it didn't have the Force, and I remember there wasn't this big groundswell of love for the show, and when people talk about it, they don't talk about it like they talk about Acolyte or Ahsoka, and I just
dude, I'm telling you, by the time you get, even the people, I see people in the comments.
That's what I'm saying. It's all changed around now. Everyone's like, this
by the time you get to the end, I see people in the comments go, George Lucas would be ashamed of Andor. It's no, he wouldn't, because this is actual good storytelling. But nonetheless, what happens? And by the way, he's a fan of Andor. He's a massive fan of Andor. But either way, when you get to the end of it, if you don't
end of 12,
the whole thing, if you don't think it's Star Wars, you don't know Star Wars. You just don't. If you don't, I can see like for the first 3 episodes, if you're watching and you're going, I don't know, because of like you look at the relationship between the mother and those things and the build up and all that, and that there's a lot of talking to her. I said it, dude. I said it in my reaction. I go, I can already hear people going, this is boring. All they're doing is talking. Yes, it's called fucking build up.
Here's the thing. The scene with Cyril, his mom, and Dedra, that's the same type of scene we got in the original trilogy of Luke and his aunt and uncle sitting around. I was like, I don't want to be here. It's another season. That's the entire thing that scene is. It's setting up the characters.
Yep.
Don't tell me it's fucking Star Wars.
And there's nonsense. And someone said this. There's lack of alien races. Aliens are everywhere in this season. They're everywhere. Because I noticed it in the first season too.
I see what you're saying.
In the first season, I saw the note just now. Someone said there's hardly any alien races in it. They're everywhere in season 2 because I noticed it. I think he got the note and took it. Yeah,
but also, I mean, okay, let's talk about this. Star Wars is always kind of mirroring modern day and whatnot. But Chandrilla, where they are the rich people, it'd be, hey, we're all going to look alike here. These are our safe people. We're all rich. We're all going to look.
Well, there was in the comics, and a lot of books. There was a whole thing that Palpatine wanted to get rid of a lot of the aliens. Too. But either way, what they're also doing now is that you have the buildup and the stuff going on with Mon. Now, the dancing stuff, did that happen in this?
In episode 3.
Oh,
it did.
She is, her world is falling apart. Yeah. And she's out there.
That's her last night. That's her last hurrah.
That's it. She was pushing through. I don't know if it was cut differently or anything too, but like I understood that scene 100%. Someone's like, you don't get. She's trying to push her life, out and realizing that what's her face is going to die, and I'm like, no. I totally understand that. I loved that scene.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
they don't spell it out for you. It's you have to like we're killing. What's his name, Ty or Tyrell, or how they realize like, oh, this he's loose lips and ships. Yeah, and they're like, he's done.
And you don't even
send him off in that car in the ship at the end. And wait a minute.
Which was such a good way of tying in Cinta back in.
So Cinta, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
She was blonde and now she's the redhead, right? Is that Cinta?
Oh no, Cinta is the brown haired girl who's the pilot. Yeah, the driver.
Okay. So then the blonde in season 1 is now the redhead in season 2.
Yes.
When did she meet up with Mon at the end of 1? I don't remember how he left her.
Was it the end of 1?
Yeah, they're cousins. You meet them. Yeah, you realize that they're cousins, but they're both kind of fighting the cause in different ways.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like all of that, and the fact that just showing like Luthen is just next level. Luthen is he is the whole reason. He is the whole reason that this whole thing exists. He is the George Lucas of the rebellion.
When that one person, they're kind of setting up the party and someone mentioned something about like trade routes, somebody's like, oh, tell me more. Just kind of gossiping in there. But and he had the look on his face as an actor, that look he gave. Oh man.
It's so good.
She spoke volumes.
Do you know who I really, really love this season a lot? And she's got more to do. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to tell you who really, to me, is one of the standouts in the show this year.
Bix.
Well, we'll talk about Bix in a second. Bix for sure. But she was a big moment last year. Clea.
Yeah.
Who?
Luthen's assistant.
Oh, assistant. Okay. Yeah.
She is phenomenal, and she is so great. Go ahead, Steph.
No, yeah, she is really great. When I want more to do with her because she knows more than basically anyone because she's the number 2 to him, which like you said, he's the architect of the entire thing. So she has a lot of information. It'll be cool to see if her character grows because right now we've only gotten little bits and pieces of her.
This season, you guys know how much I love season 1. I love season 1. Season 2 makes season 1 look like Boba Fett.
Just overall, you're saying.
Oh my gosh.
Overall.
Now, I don't spoil anything for me.
I'm not.
We're not getting a season 3, right?
No.
Okay, so this
isn't a spoiler. It literally because I've been saying this. Tony Goodwin said it leads into Rogue One. Rogue One is the series finale.
Okay.
That's why they did the 3 episode arcs, and they're basically 3 movies
every year.
Or 4 movies, right?
Or 4 movies, and it picks up like
but this is also
every movie shows like it's like within a few days, but of the next year.
And also just noticing this, and I'm sure it probably goes into how it shows how good Star Wars is and can be when they don't use the volume.
I know,
like it looks location, so good.
That party scene alone.
It
like,
looked,
and they drew the tracking shot of her walking through the party, and it's just like, this is
Mike. You also give 45 to 50-minute episodes each time. It gives you time. You don't have to go, well, we only have 25 minutes. What do we do? Throw a monster in there, and then have somebody on a jetpack fly. What do they say? Cut out all the dialogue. Just have them shoot. Pew pew pew. Do we have any lightsabers? Maybe. Throw one in there. How about really bad dialogue? Get one line of really bad dialogue in there. Throw them out. More monsters. Where's the volume? Everybody's using the volume. It's like that's the same formula, as opposed to how refreshing is it to say, oh, they're actually in the woods. They're talking for more 5 minutes, like looking like I've ever worn a watch. 5 minutes, and I'm like, wait, they just talked for 5 minutes, and I understand everything they're saying and where they're going, and that build up, and now I know more about that person. Who knew? This feels like an HBO Max show.
And speaking of, like, even though we didn't, the goofball kids, they all had personalities.
In which one?
Like them.
They did.
The goofballs. They all had characters. I was just like,
tell you right. Like you knew who was who. Yeah.
I think it was like they're doing such a good and effective, masterful job of painting all the parts of the galaxy of what would happen if an empire was taking over, and so much of it mirrored just what similar facets of what we're seeing today. And there would be, an idiot crew that didn't know how to govern themselves. I just think we spent too long there, but that was literally my only criticism. The rest, I was just kind of in awe of how great the storytelling was, how good it looked, and how every character just got better.
Yeah, they got so much better. And so then you mentioned Bix, right? Mm-hmm. So this is where the controversy starts. Well, first of all, Bix has just been, she was so good. I love Adria Arjona in general. She really steps up in this episode. It's devastating to see where they are. They're waiting for Cass to get back. They're trying to build up. They're like hiding. And then it reminds me of Braveheart, like the scene in, what I'm talking about, Mike, like when the Prima Nocta stuff and all that. And then they hello Lassie and all that. And they wind up at the end where this guy comes in and he sexually assaults Bix and tries to, he tries to have his way with her, and she backhands him, which is fantastic. Fights her way out, and then the other guy comes in. And the thing that I couldn't believe that they said is she literally looks out and she says, he tried to rape me. She uses the words. And I said, wow, I'm surprised that Star Wars, A, went there. B, they got approval to do that, right? I saw a lot of people going, no, there's no place for this. I'm like, there's no place for it if it would have happened in Boba Fett. There's no place, and from the tone that was set up, and and if the tone was set like this in Boba Fett, there's a place for it. The way that they set this up, they set it up in a way, like I told you, the Empire is so devastating, and I'm so sick of people going, well, we have to stick exactly with the guidelines of what Star Wars has always been, and then the next time they go, we need to change it. Why are we doing the same shit? They're changing stuff up because it fits in to the narrative of how despicable, disgusting, and like they are Nazi Germany. You don't think Nazis did that to people, European villages all the time? All the time.
I don't understand the people saying that this is not fit into Star Wars. Even in The Force Awakens, they rounded villagers up and shot them all. Like he choked kids. He choked his wife.
I know.
And I thought, okay, so I'd heard the discourse. I thought they were going to show some kind of, not the, R-rated, but like they were going to show, he was never even once like,
no,
they did it very tastefully. Like, what's the problem?
It was the fact, Mike, you know what it was? It was I'm telling you, it was the fact that they used the word. If they wouldn't use that word, I don't think you would have seen it.
Don't hide from it. It's true. And people do shit like that.
100% agree with you. And that's what
put the fucking light on it.
Adria Arjona said as much when they asked her about the scene.
Yeah.
She took that with her when she said it. It felt like she had the power when she said it.
Yeah.
When you listen to her words, it was very important to see, again, what she was, who she is, and what she was able to do, and the fight that they're consistently doing against these tyrants. They're tyrants, and you felt it in the first 3 episodes, when they're sitting around that table talking with Krennic, you're like, these are despicable people. When was the last time, Steph, you felt the Empire was despicable, or the Resistance? I mean, or the what the hell with the First Order? Any of them? When was the last time?
Yeah, I mean, a long time ago, where you really feel this is exactly the type of behavior and the entire energy that an evil force would bring to a galaxy. We see it in our own world in many different examples, and it's no surprise. And I was I was impressed that they had the scene kind of showing what was happening, and then her saying it. I was like, whoa, crazy, because YouTube gets you in trouble for saying it, and that's always really bothered me. And this is like the people who complain about First Amendment, but then they're the same people who don't realize that you're being hypocritical. We have to talk about it. This is many people's lives when they're are in dangerous situations, even in just walking around in normal America. This is a danger women could think about every single moment of their lives when they don't feel fully safe. And so I was really impressed, and especially in a wartime like this where they're fighting for their lives. I think it was the ultimate show of Bix's character in general, watching all that she's been through and watching an empire beat down on her mentally, physically, everything. And that's like, who is our people fighting back? That's how you get a rebellion. So it was the most effective storytelling.
Such a great point, where it's like, that if you have a series like Star Wars and a brand like Star Wars that can bring awareness to this stuff, we know, and it's, again, it would feel out of place. If it was in Rebels, clearly it would feel out of place. If it was in a show like
Skeleton Crew,
right?
Yeah,
feels out of place.
Out of place.
This show has set a tone of what it is. Now, do I think every show should be dark and brooding and have serious issues like this in Star Wars? No, it shouldn't. You should have different tones throughout it. But it's okay to have adult Star Wars. It's okay. And you expand your brand by doing so. And clearly, the people who are really investing in this, and if you watch all 12 episodes and you see it, you see what this show is. This is their version of HBO Max. This is the best quality thing they have done. I love Mandalorian season 1 and 2. It pales in comparison to the writing, the direction, the music, everything about this show. It's like, when you get it, and especially, it's the best like prequel thing that they've ever done either too. And I know people, what? When you see the whole season, come back and then talk about it, because you got to see the entire thing. It's a brilliant show. It is absolutely brilliant all the way through. And I hope that they continue to do stuff like this. And I don't think that they will.
I'm like, so again, I didn't see it the first night. I kind of waited, and I was like, we'll probably talk about it on the show. I probably should watch it, because I've been that way just because of Star Wars the past few years has made me feel that. Like, I'm like, all right. But now just look at the way we're talking, the three of us again. We haven't been this excited to talk about Star Wars in years.
Right.
So it just like, the people that have a problem with that, like, I don't get, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, they didn't show anything. They didn't go graphic with it. Like,
and I'll tell you this.
Okay, you guys watch do you guys watch The Pit?
No, I hear it's great though.
Okay, you got to watch it. There's some stuff that happens in there, like with a pregnancy. Like, I didn't need to see that ever again in my life, but it fits the tone of the show.
Right. This fits
like
the tone.
this.
People have their idea of what Star Wars is, and it's like, did it feel out of place? Let me ask you this: for people who say, "Well, George Lucas wouldn't like that," I'm not asking if you think it felt out of place in your version of what you think Star Wars is. Do you think, from the tone that is set in this show, that it was out of place in this show? Because that's when I think the argument should come into it. It's like, it felt out of place for what was in this show. It completely made sense. And I want to get into the interview that was conducted, and Andor's creator was asked about the controversial scene. Tony Gilroy, he has scored universal acclaim for subverting expectations as to what a Disney Plus Star Wars show can be, delivering a more serious and mature take on the franchise that forgoes fan service and the more cartoony fantasy adventure aspects of George Lucas's creation in favor of prestige adult political drama. I love that sentence all the way around. It's a show that has pushed through creative limitations left and right, and the fan base loves it for that. But even by the show's standards, one scene in the just released third episode of the new season has shocked and upset viewers. In the episode, Bix is hiding out in a farming settlement while Imperial troops are rounding up undocumented citizens. Over the course of the episode, an Imperial officer's flirtation with Bix becomes incredibly pushy, culminates in a scene in which he attempts to violently, I guess, as you said, Bix. In the ensuing struggle, she ultimately gets the upper hand and kills the officer. Bix then makes it clear what happened when she screams he tried to do it. So, Star Wars is famously a fairly chaste franchise. There is romance, but nothing in the way of explicitness, and there is sexual servitude. The slave bikini. The first season of Andor was vaguely hinted at sex in the 7th episode with a morning after scene in a dingy motel. This, however, goes far beyond that and has people asking why it was necessary. Speaking with THR, Gilroy says it was required to tell an accurate tale of revolution, and shying away from sexual assault didn't feel truthful. Good on him. I get one shot to tell everything I know or can discover that I've learned about revolution, about battles, with as many incidents and as many colors as I can get in there without having the story tip over. I mean, let's be honest, man. The history of civilization, there's a huge article component of that, and it's, there you go, you see the word. All of us who are here, we are all the product of it. I mean, armies and power throughout history have committed it. So not to touch on it in any way, it was just organic and it felt right coming out as a power trip for this guy. I was really trying to make it a path for Bix that would ultimately lead to clarity, but a difficult path to get to clarity. Gilroy adds that he received no pushback on the scene from the studio. No one ever said anything about it. But I mean, we have our limits of what we can do. We're very aware of what we can do sexually and violence-wise. Those limits are made very clear. Fan reaction have been fairly divided over the sequence. Some abhorring its inclusion in the franchise, others saying it reflects the real world, and the comments the producing and writing commends the producing and writing team for not shying away from this topic. Well, that's clearly in the band that we're in. I understand people going, well, wait a minute, I've never seen anything like this before in my Star Wars before, and I'm not used to it. I understand that. I get it. But like I said, and like his comments said, this is the world that they're in. Like, you ain't seen, as far as this type of stuff, yeah, they don't keep going with this. It was said what needed to happen, and they did it. But this show doesn't slow down as far as, making you almost want to shy away. That's what this show is. And Steph, what I was going to tell you, and you'll get excited by this, the first 3 episodes, arc 1, my least favorite out of all of them.
Oh my gosh.
Least by easily.
That's not building the hype. Come on, man. Jesus, this sucks. Not gonna wait for it.
I'm telling you, I would tell you that the third arc is probably my favorite, and 4 and 2 are tied.
I forgot we're getting K2SO, aren't we?
Yeah, they say in season 2. I love the way that they address this, that this is what they know what this show is. Tony Gilroy knows exactly what he set out to do, which is tell the story of the spark that set off in a rebellion, and what an oppressed people will do under the thumb of an empire. And Bix is the perfect character for that, because she's been tortured physically, she's been displaced, she's been undocumented, she is just pushed to her very edge, and the only way, she either has to just give up and surrender, or she becomes powerful and becomes more a part of the rebellion, which is what I hope that she is.
Now, do you guys remember, because we were at Celebration 3 years ago, and were they getting ready to film season 2 at the time? What is the time frame of when they were filming this? Do you guys remember?
Well, no, they had a bunch of different. Remember, they had that problem because of the strikes and stuff. They started
after the strikes.
They started filming around the strikes, and it was right around the strike.
Okay,
because it was, what was first? First was the writer's strike, obviously, and then they were like, "Oh, we started to shoot." There was that whole thing, and they were worried about it, so they had to go back and do everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Like frozen.
I'm frozen. I got a big point I want to say, but damn it.
Okay. Well, I'd like to go for it. But I'm just saying, Steph, like, it builds and it builds and it builds, this whole show, and how you continue to get more. Like, they do this, and you don't shy away from this, because it just felt good to watch a Star Wars, to me, that I think treats the audience with respect. Like, it really does. Like, you're watching it and you're going, oh, they're not like dumbing this down and just making it to where it's like, well, it's not. And here's the other side. I got you one back, Film Animator. This isn't just for kids. It's for everybody. It's for everybody, and you can make it.
You can't say it's for Star Wars just for kids because it's not all for kids. It's not.
It started maybe as a kids thing too, but those kids grew up and still loved it. Every damn filmmaker you see starts and goes, Star Wars changed my life and made me want to do this. It's not. You should absolutely make content like Skeleton Crew and other things and Rebels. You should make that for kids for sure, and everybody can enjoy it. But the point is, you can also make stuff like this that kids shouldn't watch.
I think it's because a lot of people have issues where, Star Wars, where it's just for kids. They don't do stuff like Seth, you just said. There's a whole season right now. That's why I was trying to find the writing when it started, because they're field workers and they're coming to see their papers. Like, there's nothing more topical than that. But a lot of people's like, no, this isn't right, because in my real life, I think that's good. But in my fun Star Wars, I don't want to be one of the bad guys. That's what they see.
What they're doing with Daredevil. They went Daredevil. They went to and they went to a R-rated Daredevil. And by the way, Cal, I'm giving him a thumbs up. No one's picking on anybody. So the point is that when you look at Daredevil and you look at rated R, what it does, it just doesn't. It has a guy's. Well, there's people who are getting brutal in the Netflix series, smashing your head into a car. It just shows you how people are like, well, you know what? In Daredevil, it's okay to see people's heads getting blown up and things like that. But God forbid, there's a sexual assault woman that she fights back and she says the word. No, it's not Star Wars. It's like, you can have a Star Wars for mature audiences. It's okay. It's
a perfect analogy.
It's a change.
So the Daredevil bashing heads in, that's Daredevil. But also him hooking up a She-Hulk over in San Francisco, that's Daredevil too. They're both the same thing in the same world. It just sets the tone. The She-Hulk show is different. So he fit in that world. It's tone. It's all about tone. It's all about Star Wars, though.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right. I agree with you guys completely, and both of your points. It's interesting that people are just deciding that it's not for Star Wars and it's not for this show, but it's so fascinating what all of us do in terms of accepting things or not. Like, we've seen Darth Vader choke people out. We've seen that the Empire will blow up an entire planet at will. What do you think happens? But it's like, but if we saw the body burning, that's too much. But seeing it from afar is okay.
In episode 4, there was literally a skeleton burning.
Steph,
But
I saw someone say
this is not okay.
They were talking about, Anakin choking kids, and someone literally goes, "But did we see it? Did it happen? Did it happen? We didn't see it." We were just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
But going away from that in general, this show, like it's and for people, again, I can see the first 3. I really can see. I disagree with it, but I understand where someone can say, "Oh, it's a little slow for me. Oh, it's a little boring." Okay, fine. The ending, you can't. The ending of that episode is just phenomenal. When everything happens, they lose their buddy from the first season, which sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, to show you how great Andor is. They escape, they get off them, but I'm telling you,
they
moves moving forward.
We talked about, just another thing that's sad. They left Pissbot behind.
They did leave Pissbot behind.
Pissbot got left behind.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
He just wanted Andor to come back. He just wanted his buddy.
I know.
They left Pissbot.
I know they left Pissbot.
Wait, no.
And
He's gonna come back and get him.
Okay, we'll see. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, Andor is already causing discussion, and I can tell you guys before anything else, this is just, if as long as Mike's now working, this will be the kind of conversation we're going to have every week about Andor, because I'm telling you, there is going to be an episode that, and I'm not telling you when, there's going to be an episode that will be the first water cooler episode, I think, for Andor in general. It's going to be an episode everyone's going to be, even you people out there are going, this is boring. You better keep watching it, because I guarantee you're going to come back, oh, I'm sorry, that one was all right. Because it is the best Andor episode ever. Ever. It's the best. It's the best Star Wars episode of TV ever. I'll go that high. It is the best Star Wars episode in television ever. I'm not telling you when it is, but it's coming. Either way, what do you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why? Have the debate in the comments. Have the debate in the Clips channel, This will be on the Clips channel. So put your thoughts in there. Let's get to it. All right.